everybody. I'm really excited to be here today. This is the first video I'm going to do for helping you work towards achieving a handstand. So today, the three main things I really want you to walk away with is what mobility things that you need to do to open up your hips and your hamstrings to start with, because that's going to be really, really important in achieving a handstand. What things we need to do to open up our pecs and our shoulders, and then also our strengthening wrists, especially for females. They're usually not used to putting that much weight on their hands for that long, so it's really important for injury prevention. And then third, if you're used to just kicking up against a wall, I want to be able to share some exercises with you to get you away from the wall and how we're really going to build up to doing a handstand in the middle of the room. So this is my friend Audrey. Hi. And so don't feel intimidated. Obviously, I don't have a 60-second handstand yet, but Audrey, you're very new to handstands, right?
Yeah, I can do them. I can kick up against a wall, but holding it is really difficult, and I haven't even attempted to work it in the middle of the room yet. So
yeah, and Audrey doesn't have a gymnastics background. She's been practicing yoga for several years, but she never did cheerleading or tumbling or any kind of martial arts. So it just goes to show that I think Audrey is going to be able to work up to getting a handstand in the middle of the room, and you don't have to have some kind of hand balancing or special gymnastics background in order to achieve a handstand. So I'm excited to share this practice with you. So as you can see, you don't need much space in order to do warm-ups and really practice your handstands. I live in a very small place, and this is about 150, 200 square feet. If you don't have a yoga mat, you can get one really cheap for $10 or $15, and you don't even need that. And then I do recommend blocks. I think that really helps, especially if you're tight in your hamstrings, for warming up, and then also helping warm up the shoulders and really opening up the chest. So we'll start with my warm-up. It's going to include a little bit to warm up the hamstrings, wrists for shoulders, open up the chest, and then also work on engaging the core, because that's super important in handstands so you prevent a banana back. So let's get ready. I'm coming into a lizard lunge here, fingertips tented. Coming back. Left foot all the way out to the left side of the mat. Tent the fingers. Lift up the left heel. Scoot it towards the left side of the mat and start to sink into your hips. Grab your blocks now on the highest level and dip down to a cow lunge and back. And just really a dynamic flow here. I usually do about 5 to 10 total, depending on how I feel that morning. And then I'll hold. And then I'll drop down to my back knee and come into a half splits here. And then come forward. And usually I plant my left hand, grabbing my back foot for a quad stretch, and then coming back into half splits, then rocking forward. Then I see kind of start to warm up into the front splits, still using blocks. I feel like as I've gotten better with my splits, this really helped with my handstand, and I really have to be conscious of working it on both sides. Switching sides between cow and cat lunge. Not really holding much here, kind of doing more dynamic. So a little bit different from yoga holds. I'm really getting into the psoas right here. It's often tight. People drive a lot. Then dropping the back knee, coming into a half split. Then coming forward, right hand planted, grabbing with my left hand for my back foot. Then finally coming into full splits. And it's okay if I'm tighter one day. Sometimes I'll go through that whole sequence 2 or 3 times until I feel warm enough in my hamstrings. Then coming back, we're going to start to warm up the shoulders. In addition to the exercises that Audrey and I are going to show you, one of the best exercises I like to do before I start working on handstands or to build up strength with handstands is the L handstand against the wall. I think that you should be able to consistently do 3 to 5 reps of these, holding it for 30 to 60 seconds with perfect form. So this is great, and I'll show you a couple of them. 30 seconds is a lot longer than it seems. You can start here, really making sure that your upper back is spread wide. You're pushing through your hands, and you're not hyperextending. You can stay here, or you can practice lifting and pointing one leg, really activating your quad. Going back down. So now we're going to actually go into some exercises to actually work on getting a free handstand in the middle of the room. So the first one that I wanted to show with Audrey is that Audrey has been used to kicking up against the wall for years now.
Yeah.
Right? Yep, and constantly people really never get away from the wall with that because they're constantly having a banana back, so meaning that their ribs are flared out, they're not engaging their core, and then they can't hold a handstand in the middle of the room. And then a lot of times with kicking up with one leg, their hips might be rotated, they're shifted, and it just makes it really unstable and scary.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
Yeah, so Audrey is going to be my demo, and we're going to show you some exercises that you can really do to actually build up to a handstand. So the first one is going to be doing a tucked handstand against the wall. And the reason this is so beneficial and working towards a handstand is because it really knits in the ribs and engages the core It builds up stamina, and then also by being in a tuck position, you can be super mindful when you go up to the wall by not actually slamming into the wall, and our goal is just to lightly touch the wall and come back down. So we're really being stable in our core. So first we're going to show Audrey against the wall. We're going to show Audrey against the wall and what that would look like. So Audrey's going to go about a hand length away from the wall. Her hands are going to be shoulder width apart. We don't want them wide. That's a mistake I first was making when learning handstands several years ago. She's going to come up into kind of a downward facing dog, walk her feet in, and she's going to lightly hop up to a tuck position up against the wall. Yep, she's going to lightly touch and slowly come back down. Our goal is for her to slowly as possible come back down and try to do 3 reps. And one more. Okay, and she's going to come back down and rest for a second. So once you feel comfortable doing sets at the wall, just like Audrey demonstrated, I would say it's a really good goal to work up to be able to do 5 sets, 3 reps each time, maybe for a week or 2 weeks. Then you're ready to transition to the middle of the room with a partner, trying that same exercise, hitting your partner's hands with your hips as lightly as possible. The reason you want to do that is because then you really get used to where your hips are supposed to be in space, how they should be directly over your shoulders and your hands and wrists. A lot of people don't realize when their hips are all the way over here or their hips are all the way back there, unless they have a gymnastics background and are really used to what their body feels like in space, maybe tumbling. Also, it's really important to take rests in between sets. I always think of squatting 250 pounds. You wouldn't immediately, after 30 seconds of rest, go into your next set. So it's really important for quality over quantity when doing hand balancing movements. So you might take a full minute to 2 minutes rest in between each set. So now I'm going to demonstrate that same exercise and what it would look like in the middle of the room with Audrey as my partner. So you're going to come hands shoulder width apart. You're going to be looking slightly down so you don't want your neck hyperextended. You're going to press into your hands, strong upper body, and then you're going to lightly tuck until you hit your partner's hands and come back down. Tuck, down. And it's okay if you don't hit your partner's hands. Then you just kind of get used to, okay, my hips were not far enough over. And if you really hit your partner's hands, then you know, hey, I'm really over rotating. And eventually you're going to get used to where your hips should be stacking over your shoulders.